Coming up on Mountain News this morning, America made it back to the moon last week, but it wasn't without some unforeseen difficulties. And one Eastern Kentucky restaurant wanted to get back to tradition after years of trying something different.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 a.m. on Monday, February 26th. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. It was cold Saturday, a little bit better yesterday, and I think you're going to like the prospects of our temps the next few days. In fact, you're going to love walking out to this morning. 50 outside our studios here in the heart of Perry County. All right, here's your weather headlines. Again, we're going to have a mild start to the week after our shower threat diminishes mid-morning and another shot of cold air. Similar to what we had back on Friday night into Saturday rather. Short visit, and this shot of cold air not as cold, if there's any consolation regarding that. All right, let's look at the temps right now. Surge of mild air has come into southern and eastern Kentucky. A lot of us are in the 50s, and the pinpoint Doppler radar shows the showers near Stanton, trying to get in toward McKee, West Liberty, just north of Pikeville, and this will continue to track to the east-southeast and get out of here by mid-morning. Throw the loop on the last couple of hours so you can see the trends, and there is drier air behind this that'll come into play, which means skies turn partly cloudy as we head for the afternoon, a bit breezy too, and forecast highs getting into the upper 60s. More about your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in just a few moments. Olivia?
Thank you, Tim. And late last week, space history was made, but it wasn't without a few glitches along the journey. Alexa Minton has more information on the U.S.'s return to the moon.
After 52 years, the United States has finally returned to the moon. A private company called Intuitive Machines sent out this lunar lander called Odysseus, nicknamed Odie. And after Odie's long journey, history has been made.
Intuitive Machines 1, it's a company out of Houston that's landing a spacecraft on the surface of the moon on the south polar region of the moon. It'll be the first time that a non-government organization has landed on the surface of the moon.
The mission was historic and worked on by scientists across the globe, even right here in Kentucky. Morehead State University is home to a 21-meter space tracking antenna and additionally a Space Mission Operating Center, perfect to include an Intuitive Machines lunar data network.
We at Morehead State have been part of Intuitive Machines lunar data network since they created it, but one of the few stations that has the capability to command and track spacecraft at the moon and on the surface of the moon.
And after traveling for 7 days, the lunar lander approached the surface of the moon. However, the lander's orbit around the moon was a little bit more elliptical than intended, and it was discovered that some landing equipment tech was not functioning. Mission Control lost communication for 6 excruciating minutes, and 11 minutes of silence after the original projected land time.
We can confirm, without a doubt, as our equipment is on the surface of the moon and we are transmitting.
And while the mission was a historic feat and deemed a success, history can always be spun in different ways. And this story might have to be, because the lunar lander Odie, while on the moon, is currently resting on its side.
When we worked through the night to get other telemetry down, we noticed that in the Z direction, this direction, is where we're seeing the residual tank quantities.
And while there might have been a few hiccups in the landing, Morehead State University is still holding excitement, telling WKYT that the spacecraft is healthy and sending data and receiving commands. MSU will continue to work with both NASA and Intuitive Machines as this mission continues to write itself in history, with Kentuckians and Kentucky students at the center of it all. For WKYT, I'm First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton.
Intuitive Machines is still working to assess exactly how much work Odysseus can carry out on the lunar surface before it loses its solar energy, as lunar night is around a week away. One middle schooler out of Harlan County returned home after setting not one but two state records. 8th grader Tanner Daniels set the Kentucky state record for the fastest 1,500-meter and 3,000-meter run among middle schoolers. Daniels started running in 4th grade and says he really started getting into running in 6th grade after running in the middle school cross-country nationals.
6th grade year. You know, I went to state. I didn't really know I was that good or not. I was leading about the whole state, and then I got tripped. So, and then we went to nationals. And then I won that, and ever since then I've just been going strong.
Prior to yesterday's indoor state track meet, Daniels won state in cross country. One Owsley County restaurant is seeing new success by going back in time. WYMT's RJ Johnson shares how Spencer's Dairy Bar is bringing back the memories.
On the South Fork of the Kentucky River in Boonville sits Spencer's Dairy Bar. One of the owners, Judy Spencer, says the restaurant has been a staple in the community for more than 70 years, with some people coming to the area just for a bite.
And they always said, we'll go down there and eat before we go home. And when I worked some, I realized that some of them are coming from those different counties and all. Lee County, all the counties around us, you know. So we've really appreciated it over the years.
She says they recently changed their recipe back to how it was originally.
A good business here for years, since 45, you know, whenever you want to see a need to close. And so they want to do something for the customers, so they brought back the old hamburgers they rolled out in balls and put their own recipe with the hamburger.
She says nearly 20 years ago, they began using frozen patties, making things easier for the staff.
It was improving with a lot of outsiders and things stopping here, that it was getting to be a hard job to roll them out. It was a cold job. Your hands would get so cold.
Once word got out that they went back to the old recipe, they were busy.
We really had a lot of people that came and had to wait as much as an hour or so to get their food. I think they sold 200-pound hamburger.
Even seeing some old friends.
We even had some people that worked in the dairy bar that came back and helped us that didn't even want to be paid.
Saying it feels like a nostalgic reunion. In Boonville, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Spencer says while they do not know how long they will keep the original recipe around, they are continuing to take it day by day. Saturday, the University of Kentucky hosted its annual E-Day event, welcoming in the public to explore an array of science, engineering, technology, and mathematics booths. Over 4,000 people were in UK's engineering building to learn about the different kinds of engineering offered by the college. Folks of all ages had the opportunity to interact with 100 different booths at the event.
The community doesn't necessarily know all the different types of engineering that we do here in the College of Engineering. We have everything from biomedical engineering to agriculture, aerospace programs. So we have a little engineering for everybody.
If you missed the event, UK says that it has plans for next year's E-Day already in place, and you can find more information about what to expect on UK's website.
And a good Monday to you, temperature-wise. This is great to wake up to on a Monday morning here at the tail end of February. Temps in the 50s, minus Irvin now. Checking in at 49. Lower 30s, Ashland, out toward Grundy. Don't worry, this mild air is going to be tracking towards you as we make our way through the next several hours. Here is the pinpoint Doppler radar action south of 64, extending just north of Pikeville right now. And we go ahead and zoom on in. And we'll kick everything into motion too and watch it arcing Stanton, West Liberty, Paintsville. And this track to the east and southeast will persist and depart as we get into mid-morning. So as that departs, drier air comes in, so skies turn partly cloudy and a bit breezy for the afternoon, with highs this afternoon topping out in the upper 60s and lower 70s region-wide. How long do we keep this milder air? We'll let you know. First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in just a few moments. Olivia?
Thank you, Tim, and thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, GOP presidential contender Nikki Haley says she's sticking with it through another week of primaries, despite a major loss on her home turf over the weekend.